Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fantasy Bros Before Pros podcast, September 2nd, less than a week, no, a week and 10 days from the season opener in what's been a strange off season. Jay here. Got two guests today, one of which is on right now. We've got Joey Ricotta on right now with us. Joey, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, dude? Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. So, tell the people out there, as far as fantasy goes, like what it is that you're involved in, and basically where they can find your work and things like that.
Um, I've been writing a little bit at primetimesportstalk.com. That's mainly where you can get most of my stuff from. I do a lot of DFS stuff during the season.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm kind of dived into baseball. I've been doing a lot of baseball stuff still. Season's still in full swing.
For sure.
So, but I'm working on rankings. I've got my rankings out, but they're not out on the site yet. So, but I've got them done. Ever changing though with all the news and updates and injuries and all that. So,
Yep.
um, got to make some minor tweaks before I can actually release them.
Right.
And I'm also working on a series, mini series, values, sleepers, and busts, um, which will be two at each position, two players at each position that are values, sleepers, and busts. That should be out. I'm hoping this weekend. It's tough around work, but yeah. So yeah, that's and at the riot 326 on Twitter, all that good stuff. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I appreciate you having me on. I just love talking football, love talking fantasy, love talking sports. So
That's it,
you
man.
know,
I mean, it's back. It's in full swing, even if it's in the strangest way that it's ever been, as far as camp goes, as far as no preseason games, and basically all the hype that we have to go off of are by writers who have been there. Whatever coaches are saying, like Coach Speak is like what's driving the news right now, and it's gonna be a lot of there's gonna be a lot of swings as far as like fantasy goes. Like guys that we missed on. Like when we look back, we're gonna say, how could we have looked at him that low or taken him that high in this? And it happens every year, but I feel like this year you're gonna see a lot of extremes. Like guys that we thought like were like sure hits like aren't gonna hit, and the same way the other way around. So it's just gonna be a hectic year, man.
yeah, I
But yeah,
agree.
yeah, and I mean, so you're from Chicago, right?
Yeah, close by there, like 2 hours. 2 hours from there, I'm in Rockford.
Uh huh.
So, but I got family in Chicago. Um, Very close to what happens in Chicago, obviously. So, but yeah, close enough to where I could just make a day trip out of it, go catch a game, come back,
So Bears
all
fan.
that good stuff.
Bears fan for
Oh,
sure.
big.
Cool.
Yeah, big Bears fan. Yeah.
Can you give us some insight into what we're all well the Monty thing? Unfortunately, like I was big on him, going into this because I felt like he was gonna be my safe like RB2 RB3 flex option all year because of his steady volume. Like I didn't see anybody with a clearer path to 250 carries, regardless if the line isn't what you want it to be, or as long as he's getting those goal line carries and he gets that opportunity, I feel like he was going to be fine. But we know about his injury. He's in doubt for week one, or he's in danger. I wouldn't say doubt, but I really wouldn't see him playing. I would say I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, week one sounds like it is in doubt, I guess could
Mm-hmm.
say. Um, but he's trying to make it back, obviously. So we'll see what happens, how he progresses over the week. But um, I don't want them to rush it because of what he means to them. Obviously, they don't have any other really true running backs. I mean, you have Ryan Nall, who's been kind of there preseason. We've seen him get some action in preseason before, and he's looked solid. But that's preseason. It's against scrubs. Um, so in the line, like you said, the line's hit or miss, and they've made some improvements there. We'll see what Jermaine Ifedi does and guys like that. But Monty, I still like him, and I still think that you should probably still target him in drafts because especially now that Fournette's signed with the Bucks,
We'll talk
that
about
was a
that in
big
a bit.
scare
Uh huh.
for me. If Fournette would have went to the Bears, that would have really thrown Monty for a loop for me. So Cohen's obviously that kind of scat back gadget player type of. He's good for PPR if you get him real late, but he's not going to be that workload guy. And Monty, he looked so great, from everything I heard in camp. And one of my guys, Dr. Michael Risher, actually, he worked with them. He trained with them and a lot of other Bears. And he said that Monty cut 4% body fat, and he was looking super quick. I mean, in and out of cuts, he was just explosive. So that was what got me really hyped about him this year. And unfortunately, conditioning-wise, it's going to be tough to condition with this type of injury. So I don't know. His outlook, you're probably not going to really expect too much from him until maybe week 3 or 4, I'm thinking. Right. But, I still say fire him up if you get him at a good round,
Right. That's the thing I think that is important, is that his ADP is going to be depressed now because people are just going to be hands off. Like there's a large group of people that were already hands off before the injury. The injury just set that into motion even further. So depending on if you're drafting with, everybody's doing their home leagues this week. I know I'm doing a ton of them this week. You have to know your room. Know your group, know who's and watch the draft board. Like if you can wind up stealing him in the 7th, 8th as like an RB4 and you're like locked and loaded with 2 RBs, depth is going to be very important this year. I've been preaching you guys, the end of drafts, you need to be looking at depth, like swing upside depth guys, just in case something happens to somebody. So,
definitely.
So that's one thing, right? And if you've ever heard me talk about Allen Robinson, I think that he's one of the most underrated, like overlooked route runners, wide receivers in this league, right? And I think that not nothing personal or anything like that. I think that's because of the quarterbacks that he's been with. He went from Bortles to Trubisky now, and then now I guess the question that really doesn't really bother me when it comes to Allen Robinson, because I know that as long as he has 125 targets, it doesn't matter for who it's from, he's gonna produce. I just want to know if we're drafting him at his floor or if we can see a higher ceiling, and that all depends on who the quarterback is. So can you give us a little bit of insight as to who you think? I know that Nagy is playing this thing close to the chest, and I'm sure that him and maybe 2 other people know. I'm just asking you to give your best educated guess on who you think it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Foles knows the system. He's got connection with the coaches. He's got a bunch of money coming in. They made the trade for him. Obviously, they could have just signed somebody off the streets, but they searched him out and traded for him. I feel like it's Trubisky though. So I say all that to say it's Trubisky because he's got a good matchup, from the jump. He's got the Lions, and I believe the Giants. I think were game 2. Not 100% sure on that, but the Lions are game 1 for sure.
4. The reason that I know that you guys play the Giants in the first 1 or 2, 3 games is because the Giants have like a death schedule in the beginning of the year, like where they play Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Chicago, and like somebody else, like 4 top defenses the first 4 weeks. So that's a reason to kind of
fantasy. Yeah.
That's a reason too. If you're thinking about Daniel Jones as your other quarterback, it might be time for you to draft Daniel Jones and someone else for that first part of the week. And their schedule doesn't really brighten up a little bit further on. I hate to go back on what I said last pod because I was telling you guys, these guys, Ingram, Shepard. I still think all that is true. I just am starting to see a little bit of downside if perhaps they run into these death schedules of like these stretches of like hard defenses and things like that, But I digress. So, so you really think it's going to be Trubisky then?
Yeah, I do, and it's more so the fact that it's been kind of neck and neck from what it sounds like in camp, and he also has more experience, or not more experience, but more of a connection with the players on this team,
right?
Than Foles does at this point. Which Foles is a veteran. He's been around the block. He's not like he's going to come in there and ruin things.
No.
But and he can make the competent throws and the decisions. He's a guy that understands the offense. But Trubisky, I think what the GM wants, Ryan Pace, he wants this to turn into gold and really kind of back him up for his decision to draft Trubisky. So I feel like if there's one last shot at it, you're going to take that one last shot and see if you can turn him into something and build that confidence. And if he comes out of the gate swinging and he comes out hot, maybe he turns the corner. And I think that's what they're going to kind of try for. Either way, if he comes out of the gates terrible, you just make the switch after 2 games, after 1 game, whatever, So that defense will be good enough to, I believe, still compete. And you could probably still even win with a lackluster Trubisky from the beginning. So we'll see. I think it's Trubisky to start, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's Foles. Well, no one knows. Like you said, it's a best guess. I don't have any insiders, anything like that. So, but I would like it to be Trubisky, I guess, too, from the beginning. So.
Right, and then I think this kind of begs the question too. Like, if you go away from Trubisky, can you ever come back to him? Like, is this would that be like the final, straw that breaks the camel's back as far as the kid's confidence? Because he always says all the right things after the games. It's just that you don't see it on the field, like missing wide open guys, like throwing passes that you just are like, what was he looking at that point? The defense will be fine. You guys are gonna be in plenty of games. And I think that either way, if it's going to be Trubisky or if it's going to be Foles, I think you guys are going to dial the playbook back. You're not going to be taking shots down the field or anything like that. I think you're gonna want to establish either short, easy throws or a very good running game just to keep the pressure off of both guys. And yeah, I'm not worried about Allen Robinson, honestly, either way. Either way. So if there's even a slight increase from his quarterback play last year, I think he'll be fine. The other question that I have to ask you is the ancillary parts. So here's the thing that we were saying about the Bears, and I guess we'll turn this into your part, like a whole Bears preview, right? We could do this.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I love talking Bears. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So Anthony Miller's a guy that I like grabbing really late, and one, I understand the shoulder thing. He has a big chance to re-injure that. There's a high likelihood of that. But he is basically the only other wide receiver on this roster that, you could even see yourself starting at this point, right? There's, Darnell Mooney, but Anthony Miller's somebody that I've been getting late now. If it's somebody like Foles that's going to be throwing him the ball out of the slot, then you're talking about somebody that's going to get peppered with targets. I think this is what we thought D.D. Westbrook was going to be last year, right? With Foles, we thought that you were going to get Foles all year. Foles breaks his collarbone, and then you get Minshew, and then that's the end of Westbrook, And I think, if that's an old narrative, then it's on me. But I do feel like if Foles is there, that's an upgrade to Anthony Miller for sure. Because I know Anthony Miller's a baller.
Oh yeah, I think that you're absolutely right, honestly. Because like you said, I don't think it's an old narrative. I think it's a legit narrative because there's real avenues to Miller, being that dude with Foles. Also, though, one thing to look at is I think you could kind of expect him to be that guy even with Trubisky because of the breakout that I guess I wouldn't call it a breakout, but he really showed a lot of progress.
He did.
After coming back from the injury and then playing strong. The final few weeks of the season. I had his numbers I tweeted out a couple months ago, but I don't have them off the top of my head, but he looked real strong and he was actually getting the ball. That was something that for the majority of the season, though, like Trubisky, you talked about missing receivers and stuff. And, earlier in the year, he was not even looking his direction. Miller was wide open for the most part. And like you said, he's just a baller. The guy gets open.
Yes,
he was almost screaming it on Twitter. He would say things that it's hey, Miller, you probably shouldn't say it. It wasn't anything terrible, but it was you could tell that he's frustrated. He wants the damn ball.
And it's too close to something that could be true. Don't say anything that could be misconstrued to something.
Right. It's like you're outing your own teammate type of thing for... It's you make him look bad, and he doesn't have to do that, and he doesn't need any help looking bad. So, but no, I like Miller a lot, especially like you said, if you get him at the right price, the right round, right ADP, or past his ADP, I think even.
Yeah.
I like Miller. I think he'll, especially PPR. If he gets peppered with those targets, and he might even be that safe, reliable source even for Trubisky if they dial back the offense, expected. You know, they're not going to be taking the deep shots all the time. And Robinson is going to get his regardless, like we talked about. But, you know, he's just that damn good. But, you know, Miller, I think there's opportunity there for Miller. I really like Miller in certain. I don't know what round I would take him in. Do you know what his ADP is off top right now?
He's been going later. I mean, I think that we're seeing a little bit of a rise. You know, with just the talk of, you know, like we said, you know, with the whole slot thing. I think there's a vast majority of people that really do believe that Foles is going to be the guy. You know, again, everybody's just making educated guesses at this point, right? So I have seen him going in like the 10th, 11th round, which at that point it's you know, you're really looking for those gems like those, you know, or you're just swinging on the backups who can win you the year if something happens to, you know, those high handcuffs, those high price handcuffs. So he's been moving up. In dynasty startups, he's like slipping to like a place where it's like around like 14, 15 in PPR leagues, 12 teams. Like, yeah, and it's like that's, you know, that's like screaming at you right there.
Oh, I would even you know, offer some trades at that, you know, because if guys are willing to pass up on him in those like startup dynasty drafts, they're probably willing to move him just because they look at the quarterback situation, like we talked about, the uncertainty of it. They're like, I can't trust this guy. I don't even know if he's capable of breaking out like we saw the flash of.
Right.
So I would throw some flyers out there and see what you can get in a trade, you know.
For sure. I mean, I tried it before the hype happened, you know, in a few of my home leagues, and I think that what happens is because like we're in these home leagues, right? And we say that we're in a fantasy, we do we're creating content, right? So whenever I go to somebody with a trade in one of my home leagues, it's always, okay, what do you know, and why do you want this player? Like I get like like a third degree like on like and it's hard for me to trade. You know, so like I went to like try to get Anthony Miller, and like I was willing to give, like I was gonna overpay. I was gonna give a second rounder for next year, and he was like, nah. He was like, I don't know why you want him, but no. I'm like, all right. Like it sucks.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
That's a good. Yeah. That'd be a solid move. I mean, a solid. He would be getting.
That's what I thought too. You know, that's
second rounder for him. That's pretty solid for him. I think.
I think the other thing is I think that, you know, for the hardcore dynasty guys, like they're out there just trading all day, right? Like they have not a care in the world. They're gonna take their L's. They'll keep going. Like, you know, like I'm in like 2 or 3 dynasty leagues where there's constant trading. Like it never stops. But you know, in the same way, you know, in these casual leagues, I think that because we're not going to see too many, not casual, these home leagues, like we're not gonna see a lot of people trying to trade rookie draft picks with no college this year, right? Like they they haven't dug that far into it. You know, the hardcore dynasty guys already like have their rankings out for next year. Even with like Jamar Chase is already the number 1, and he just opted out. Like so. It's not the same in those. So I think that people are a little bit reluctant to get rid of those, not knowing what's on the other side and who could be coming out of there. Like, you know, but those hardcore dynasty guys, they don't care. They're trading firsts and seconds and thirds, and then 2 years down the line, thirds. Like they're just, you know, like those leagues are crazy. Like they send me those trades, and I almost get skeptical too, where I'm like, I don't know about this one, you know, and I'll just hit decline.
You got to do it. You're like, all right, let me take like 3 days to, you know, I'll think about it, you know. Right. So then you put even more research in. You're reading like every article you can find, pulling up the player news on Football Reference.
Exactly.
You know? so yeah.
I have my boy Faraz here. He's in here. Give me 1 sec. All right. Add to call. So that's good. We're just gonna add Faraz in right now. But that was good. I'm glad that we did the Bears thing. The only other person that of interest for me on your team, I feel like, you know, you have like 300 tight ends. Can you explain to me? Like,
they're cutting. I know it's crazy, dude. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're gonna cut like at least 296 of them. So
Jimmy Graham.
They'll get to 4, but
all right. Faraz, what's up?
Yo, what's up, man? Am I good?
We're good, man. Joey, this man. Faraz from Upper Hand Fantasy. You guys know him if you've listened to the show. We've been on many times, but we have to use Skype Faraz because we're not rich and we don't have a corporate Zoom. So
Nah, this is good, man.
Yeah, it works.
This is great. I think we're good.
So the reason that Faraz is late is because, like I was just talking with Joey about. Joey's our Bear expert. We just did an entire Bears breakdown. We even asked him. We even asked him who he thinks is going to be the quarterback. I mean, if you want to, hear that real quick, he believes that it really is going to be Trubisky. Actually,
Are you a truther? You're not. Oh, wait, does that exist? Nah,
no,
right?
I don't think he's a truther. I think
No,
he's
no.
just in the front office's like eyes. He sees it.
Right.
Like he's
sees
going through it that way.
Yeah. I mean, from the front office point of view, I can see that for sure.
Right.
100%. I can see that. I can see him being. But I want to know about the Bears running backs though. Is it going to be Cordero Patterson? That's what I want to know.
Is it Cordero?
Oh man.
Over there?
He's been getting some running back reps though. I don't think it's Cordero Patterson season, but we'll see him. He'll get some gadget work in. He'll play a little receiver, a little running back, but it's probably more looking like, obviously it's gonna be Monty season when he's healthy.
Right.
If he's healthy, we'll see if he's available week 1, like we talked about, me and Jason. But I don't know. After that, it's like Cohen PPR, yeah, because he's going to get catches and stuff. But he's not like a traditional back, so he's not going to get that type of work. He's not going to get goal line work. He's just an oddball. Ryan Nall, I mean, maybe week 1.
Y'all just rolling with him, right? Like, it's just like, Fournette was out there, and now we could talk about it, right? Like, like I was kind of waiting for Faraz to jump in here, too. It's like, I thought that he would have been one of the landing spots. I actually, on Twitter, predicted it correctly. I just want to give myself a victory lap because I don't get things right. Like, like that. I have to take my victory laps where I get them. So I said Tampa, and yeah, that's what happened today. So, you know what? I'll mediate this so we can do this in a good way. Faraz, you tell me your immediate thoughts with the Bucks, and then Joey, I'll ask you about what you think about the Jags backfield, and then I'll jump in at the end. So, Faraz, what does this do for? Goodness, there's so many drafts. You just were in a draft right when this broke.
Yeah, and like I am like, my brain hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like when you get to those late round picks, you're like, who am I grabbing right now? Who has the most upside here? But it's funny, like now that I know how much Leonard Fournette signed for, it's like max $4 million. I'm like, yeah, that would make sense for the Bears, even if it's only for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of made sense that way. I was like, oh wow, that's cheap.
Right.
That sounds like something that Bill Belichick
was gonna do, right?
So, but yeah, no, I think they got a good deal. I mean, it's funny, like in the morning, it was Bruce Arians is calling Rojo a 3-down back. In the afternoon, he's an early down back, and then you have Dario Ogunbowale taking the 3rd down reps, passing down reps, and then in the evening, he's a 3-down bench player. It's crazy, dude. Like it's crazy how much things change just in one day. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly, I think that Leonard Fournette is just gonna like roll into that early down role, and that's it. Like, I don't think Rojo's gonna play much of a factor. I think Leonard Fournette is still capable. I think he's probably more capable than Rojo. But knowing Bruce Arians, I would assume that he'll probably sprinkle Rojo in a little bit. Just kind of thunder and lightning type of thing. But at the same time, like I just think they signed him for a reason. They got a really good deal, and Fournette is going to be that guy. It's a good offense, right? It's going to be a good offense, and like he's going to get those goal line carries. Like we all thought, like, oh, was Rojo going to get the goal line carries? Like, nope, not anymore. So I can see Rojo getting like 8 touches a game, if that, and Fournette being the main guy, 15 plus touches a game.
Right. I think that the comp that I would have for him in this offense, and just because the players from this team are on this team, don't think it was.
Don't say LeGarrette Blount.
LeGarrette Blount. LeGarrette Blount. Remember when LeGarrette Blount would just play 1st and 2nd down, and he would get all those goal line looks? You know what, Leonard Fournette, come on down. It sounds like you're going to be doing that. You won't be catching anything out of the backfield, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, Brady does like to check it down a little bit. I think that whole like Blunt thing was like more of a Belichick thing than a Brady thing. But I can see the fact that this is a good offense. He can get a ton of end zone, like goal line looks, and it's gonna happen. So hopefully he's more lucky in Tampa Bay as far as goal line looks than he was in Jacksonville, because that didn't turn out too well.
Okay. Joey, you have anything to add with the Bucks? Like, what is this? What is this doing for you and your thought process when it comes to Rojo, Fournette? You know, we have a draft coming up on Sunday too. Like, tell me something that I could use against you while we draft.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not saying anything.
We gotta no. We got honestly. I had this discussion with one of my friends before I jumped on. He was like trying to talk to me, and I'm like, we're in the same league. He was like, "When's your next fantasy podcast?" I was like, "Tonight." He was like, "I'm gonna listen to that." I was like, "Damn it," because I have to be. I have to be real. I'm sorry. I just have to be real.
He's getting all your information now. He knows everything. You can't even no sleepers.
None.
I think like you guys were talking about, the receiving work will probably come down a little bit. Yeah, Brady likes the check down. You know, he likes to do that obviously a lot, but third down wise, he's not going to be in there. He's not going to get the volume that he got in Jacksonville. And Rojo, I think Rojo's the better running back. So that's what makes this tough. I mean, I think he really should get the opportunity. But, you know, you make this a signing like this, it means you're going to play. You're not sitting on the bench. They don't do it to mix in some goal line carries. I think he's going to get a decent amount of work. Probably, I'd say 70% of the snaps. I don't know. It's kind of a ballpark figure is what I'm thinking. But in an offense like that, I think he's in a better situation now, obviously, than Jacksonville, where they're probably chasing points and not going to be very good this year. So they wouldn't be in a prime position as far as running the football, which is what he does better, obviously, than receiving. So, yeah, I think I like him more now, obviously, that he's with the Bucks than I did before. I was out on him at his ADP. So if the ADP stays the same, I might be in on him now. Or I might wait still a little bit, but I might be in on him. I was like completely out on him this season until this. So we'll see.
I'm actually just gonna be out on this whole backfield. I think I don't want to deal with it. With the thing that always scares me about Ronald Jones is just the way that Bruce Arians, when you miss a block, when you fumble the football, now you're off the field, and it's gonna take you a few weeks to get back in. I'm scared of that being that same situation with Rojo, and like what if Rojo hits the ground week 1 against the Saints? And he goes crazy, because how much can we expect Fournette to be sprinkled in realistically in week 1, if at all, right? Like, I mean, he was in fantastic shape when he was in Jacksonville, but this is a whole new offense. So I'm just going to be out on all of them. I don't want to deal with the headache. Faraz, let me ask you, you just finished a draft. Where did he go in this draft with the news of him being a Buck?
He literally went at the same ADP. He went
really?
Yeah, it's crazy. He went at 3.9, so a little bit later than his ADP. But I mean, I think you kind of hit it, man. Like, I honestly think that he's in a better spot now than he was before. Yeah, like Rojo provides some more competition, but I think Chris Thompson and like whoever the third down passing down back was going to provide more competition for him, because like you said, they're going to chase points, right? He's going from an early down back. He's going from an every down back last year, you know what I'm saying, to a early down back. And they're going to be in negative game scripts like every single game, right? So in the second half of games, you're going to see a lot of Chris Thompson on the field. When he gets hurt, Jay Gruden's going to find somebody else to play that third down role, because that's what he's always done. So, I like him better now. I mean, it's going to be a very controlled offense now, right? With Tom Brady there, you know what I'm saying? He has the weapons. They're going to be fine. They're not going to turn the ball over like crazy. So, he's in a more controlled offense, and the early down backs will succeed, in that scenario. 70% of snaps, listen, man, if Leonard Fournette's going to get 70% of snaps, 3.9 is late.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. All right, so maybe, as usual, convincing me right before I get in a home league, I'm doing something stupid like draft.
Hey, listen, man, you should see the running back. 11 running backs were taken in the first round.
Oh yeah. If you guys don't know,
it's like that this year. It's going down like that.
That's it. This is everyone's RB thirsty. Like, right. No one's there's what's crazy? There's such beautiful receivers with so much upside in rounds 4 through 6, but they're sliding even further now because those guys that should be going earlier are sliding back somehow.
100%, man. I mean, I ended up getting DJ Shark, Michael Gallup, and Deontay Johnson, and like I just feel so happy about that in the middle rounds.
Can I start actually? Because I was Joey. I'll give you a chance to talk about the backfield, but I want to talk about the main winner of this Leonard Fournette move, and I think that's DJ Chark. Like
Yeah,
all of this running back situation is a little bit muddled, and Joey, I'll let you get into that and everything. But all these vacated targets that Leonard Fournette had have to go somewhere, and I know exactly where they're going. DJ Chark has been going. I got him in a well. This is a 10-teamer, so I really shouldn't be bragging, but it's an invitational league where like if you place a certain amount, last year they invite you back and you face the like top 10 from your group and things like that. But I got him to pair with DeAndre Hopkins, who I got in the third, and I got him in the fifth. So I'm sitting pretty. Never mind that I was able to grab Henry Ruggs, and with the news that Tyrell Williams is on IR, I'm like all in. Like, hey, Ruggs will be on all my teams to start this year. Like, and he's gonna sit, and then once I see him pop, it's over. But yeah, man, I'm all over DJ Chark. Joey, talk to me about what you think this means for Raquel Armstead, Chris Thompson, and do you guys know James Robinson?
yeah, James
Yeah,
Robinson, Divino Zigbo.
I actually know him personally.
Oh, you know him personally?
Well, I mean, I've met him. Yeah, I
wow.
used to deliver pizzas to his parents' house
Oh wow.
here in town. He's from Rockford, so yeah, it's a pretty cool
Wait,
story.
Can I time out real quick? Because Jay was like, "Yo, do you know this dude?"
But he knows it.
And Joe was just like, "I actually know this
I do
dude."
know.
Yeah, no, legit. I legit know this dude. It's crazy. That was a nice.
I was like, "Yeah, I know who he is." Joe was like, "Well, I really know."
I actually do know him. I thought he was going with the joke, and he was like, "Well, I do know whatever." Like,
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought.
No, I thought this was like something we pre-scheduled, like before the pod. You're like, we're gonna talk about this. Know this guy, and then, oh yeah.
That one glass of wine before hit perfectly right there. That was it.
Well, listen, man. If you could deliver another pizza to his parents' house and just be like, "Hey, listen, oh, you didn't order pizza?" Well, listen, I just wanted to know what your thoughts are on Jacksonville
I'm
backfield.
like, "What's up, James Robinson? You going to the practice squad?"
Yeah, he's getting 80% of snaps this year. What's he doing? What's he doing?
Exactly. So, Joe, talk to me about what you think. I mean, so now that I know you know him, you're probably gonna project him higher than like what you think. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, tell me what you think. That's crazy.
No, I mean, it is crazy, but he's actually somebody who I was high on going to the draft because I liked his potential, not just because I knew him, but because I not many people really knew about him, even because he played for a smaller school, So I think he's got potential, and that's the reason why he went undrafted was because not many people knew him with the smaller school, Illinois State. But supposedly he's looked really good in camp, just from the beat writers I've been following. And I think that a lot of that led to, with Zigbo, obviously, a lot of that led into the Fournette stuff because, I mean, they've been begging to get rid of him. Everything that they've shown, they were just trying to get rid of him for so long. They didn't have any takers, so they're just like, all right, snip. Like, we gotta go, dude. You're out. So Armstead, obviously, he's probably going to get the bulk of the work to start as far as, like, the pure running back goes. At least that's how I'm guessing. But Chris Thompson is, like we talked about, chasing points. He's going to be the receiving back, and he's the only guy that I'm really interested in from a PPR perspective going late. I might be interested in Armstead a little bit, but that's like deep bench type of territory. Dynasty, I'm in on Robinson. I'm in on, a Zigbo. I'm in on those guys. I drafted them real late in the rookie rounds, rookie drafts. So if you want to go out there and make like a really interesting, just take a flyer on a guy, I would take a flyer on both of those guys, and the waiver wire or just a really cheap trade, if somebody happens to own them. But I'm kind of interested in this backfield. Obviously, like we said, Thompson though with the PPR, he's going to be the guy to watch for with the catches and everything.
Right.
So yeah, and I'm really high on Shark too. So I'm happy that you mentioned that because that's somebody who I've I have him above DJ Moore in my rank.
That's spicy. I don't know. All right, you know what? I think I can see it. You know what? Tell me what you think about that for us.
Well, I'll say this: like I got swiped in this draft. Like I was ready to take DJ Moore at 3-3 before Kenny Galladay, and I ended up taking a Galladay, but I ended up getting DJ Shark the round after that, which I was happy about. Right. So the fact that you think that DJ Shark is going to score more points than DJ Moore, it makes me very happy. I mean, I love Moore only because of the offense he's in. He's shown what he can do. And also like it's interesting that, he kind of fits Teddy Bridgewater's mold, right? Like Teddy Bridgewater, apparently he's been connecting with like Robbie Anderson, relatively deep, 40 yards, and that sort of thing. And then your boy Curtis Samuel apparently not impressing in camp.
I don't care what some beat writer says. I don't care what some. I mean, I know that.
I don't care what the beat writer says.
Writer stuff. That I don't mean that in my life, man. I know that.
Yo, Jay, if the beat writer says something positive about your boy, you'd be like, you would text me.
Crazy.
You'd be like, yo.
But it don't fit my narrative. It don't fit my narrative, bro.
You're sounding an awful lot like Evan Silva right now.
It has to fit your narrative.
My narrative, so I don't acknowledge it. Keep going though, bro.
Nah, but I like DJ Moore. Like now that I'm looking at, if you look at that whole offense, it's like Christian McCaffrey and him, and then everything else is a little bit of a wild card, right? Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, and I think we're just hoping that Robbie Anderson rekindles what he had with his former coach, and that they utilize Curtis Samuel the right way. But that's all like us hoping. We don't have anything concrete, Like
I had opportunities to take Curtis Samuel late, and I didn't.
Yeah, see, I normally I tell you to swing on that, but yeah, that little report right there is going to sway a lot of people, honestly, the other way. It sucks, but, I still believe in him, and I still think that in Dynasty, he's still a buy low for me.
It's funny, like, when you're in these drafts, right, like, you can have an opinion about a player, right, and then you read one report that same day that you're drafting, and then, like, it just, makes you hesitate just a little bit, right, and then you're just like, wait, I had an opportunity to take Chris Thompson in the 12th round. Why didn't I do that? No, and that's not what happened here. But it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have those little inklings where it just controlled. Like, recency bias is, like, such a huge thing, especially if it came the same day.
Yeah. So, yeah, damn it. Whatever. Why do you have to bring that up? Now I'm all, like, down at these.
Sorry, man. Well, listen, like, someone tilted. I was on like huge tilt mode because like someone took AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin right before me in the 5th round, and then I ended up taking Dak Prescott. That's how on tilt I was because I usually take quarterbacks super late, but that's just what ended up happening. So I understand like when someone talks about your boy, then you gotta change. You gotta switch it up.
Change the narrative. I don't like it. It's almost like he didn't even say it. But let me ask you this: in your draft that just happened. Ryquell Armstead went where?
He went pretty late, dude.
Yeah, like people aren't even really excited.
Oh, actually, not that late. 10-8.
10-8. Okay. See, that is the starter, right? Like for.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there might be an early I don't know. Like Joe, what do you think? Like it might be a share on early downs, right? Between him and
Ozigbo.
Him and Ozigbo to start.
I don't know. This is good.
Joe's cutting in and out a little bit.
Joe, you're cutting off just a little bit.
Yeah. You back?
I was like, yo, Joe's just sitting there.
Yeah, no.
I thought he was just like bored of what I was saying. Like he's just like, oh, here he goes again. He's like, oh, Dak Prescott, you really want to change the subject there, don't you?
Yo, as soon as you mention Cowboys, it's just like everybody's like, "Oh, I'm about to go to sleep." No, I didn't mean that, guys. Like, if you're a Cowboy fan, please keep listening. All right. So 10-8, that's okay. Like, again, this is gonna be another backfield. No thanks. I don't really see the upside, unless Ryquell Armstead transform.
Take Chris Thompson though. Like they're gonna be negative game scripts. Take Chris Thompson so you have a dude that you can start or in the first 4 weeks of the season.
I was just about to say you'll get him for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you'll get like 10, 15, points and
Dude, last year he was only behind like McCaffrey and some other awesome pass catching running back, in receptions, right? Or targets or whatever it was. I think Joe's back.
Joe, you back?
My bad. Oh, I thought I was back before. I was
No.
laughing and stuff. I thought you guys heard me.
No,
I was cracking jokes over here.
because you were
No,
just
so
sitting there
he was
still, and I thought it was
he was asking about if someone else is gonna mix in with the Jacksonville early down work.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't. Your guess is as good as mine. I feel like it's going to be like ride the hot hand type of situation.
right. But do you
So,
think it's going to be
you know-
like a combination of like maybe like Armstead being the 1A, Ozigbo being the 1B on early downs to start, type of thing?
Yeah,
Or do you think, or
or
do you
Robinson.
see more Armstead like getting most of that load, like in the on early downs?
I feel like to start the season, they're probably not going to want to start with Robinson for sure. They're probably going to want to start with, and maybe not even Ozigbo. They're probably going to start with Armstead, like you said, early down work, and then Thompson. He'll get a lot of, maybe even second and third down work.
So primarily two backs to start off.
I think so, but if somebody shows like they're just terrible after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe they'll switch it up, go to Ozigbo more or Robinson more or something like that. But Thompson will probably be a steady guy. I think the only steady guy.
They're gonna be slinging it, dude. Right?
Yeah.
They're gonna be slinging the ball, dude. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, they're gonna
OC too. I was looking at Jay Gruden's past wide receiver ones, and you go back to track again. I was looking at that the other day, and like his wide receiver ones have actually been like hyper targeted. Going back to like AJ Green and like a couple other guys. I forgot who they were, but it's looking pretty good for Chark.
And we saw that connection. Not to go back to the Chark thing, DJ Chark thing, but I think we saw the connection with Minshew last year.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yep.
I just expect him to take that leap. We didn't get all of Minshew Chark last year. We got a little Foles. We got a little back and forth. Okay, here he's back in. Now, I mean, one full season, Minshew Chark, I'm all in, baby. I'm all in on Chark.
I remember like in those first 9 weeks, I think it was 9 weeks or 10 weeks with Minshew, he was the wide receiver 9 overall. So that's pretty damn good.
That's DJ Moore territory.
Right, exactly. That's true.
So
Hey Jason, can you take us out of? Can you take us away from DJ Chark? Because we'll just keep talking.
We'll just keep it. The Love Fest is going on, and also I hope nobody's listening to this because he's just gonna get sniped from me. Like
for real, man. That's the problem, man. One of the guys in the other league that I invited you to, he was in that league too. So like he knows exactly who I wanted to pick. So
I hate it. Well, but also it also helps when you miss on everybody because then they take your guys and they end up missing. Like I had guys like, I got Curtis Samuel. I was like, you bastard. And I was like,
little do you know,
yeah.
I'm on him for 2021.
I didn't say this year. I said if the right coach comes in and the next year maybe.
That's what they call swaying the masses.
Exactly. It's misinformation. That's it. So the other crazy situation that was happening, but I think we have a little bit more of a grasp on, and then we'll get into our mock draft so we could, talk some strategy, talk about guys that we're really gonna, now we're just gonna snipe each other. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Chark goes 1-6 at this point now.
Oh God.
So here's the other thing. Alvin Kamara apparently was missing practice. Someone thought it was an injury. Someone said it was the contract. Alvin Kamara wanted to be traded. This was all like in 4 hours. Alvin Kamara practiced today. They're working towards a long-term deal. How did he fall in your draft and with everybody drafting this weekend? Fraz.
Yeah, he was drafted at the 4 spot.
I knew it. Because everybody's just back on, and they're like, yeah, he's practicing. That's all that matters.
Right.
Yes.
And there was reports of them being relatively close to a deal.
Yeah.
So people don't want to miss out, man. Like people don't want to miss out. Like people don't want to take Edwards-Helaire and regret it, or Henry in a full PPR and regret it, or mix, or Dalvin Cook and he ends up holding out.
Right.
You know what I mean? With that Adam Schefter thing. The Adam Schefter thing threw everyone off.
Yep. Yeah. Did Cook fall a little bit because of that?
Yeah, he did. He went to 1.7. No, 1.8, dude. 1.8.
You know what?
Wow.
I think for Cook, 1.8 is falling.
Yeah.
That's criminally low. I think he's 4, easy, 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5, exactly. So like getting him at 8 is like Derrick Henry went above him. Joe Mixon went above him in this draft.
That's crazy. No. And that's what's crazy is Cook has risk, and so does Mixon. But I would never that Dalvin over
Yeah.
Joe.
I would think that Joe Mixon would have fell to like the middle of the second or early second, something like that.
Right.
But people are crazy out here.
I'm a little higher on Mixon, but I got him I've got him about 9 overall.
Gotcha.
9 or 10 overall.
That makes sense. But he went at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In a full PPR, like I don't know, man. Rather get Kirk.
That's too high.
CH maybe.
Right.
Who do you have him? Do you have him above Josh Jacobs this year?
Oh, I do.
Are they kind
they're
of
they're like right next to each other, so I'm not sure. If,
that makes sense. Yeah.
I think
yeah,
I'm warming up to Jacobs over Mixon, and like I find in more drafts. Yeah, I find it.
I mean, I feel like they both have they're basically like early down backs, right? Who are gonna get a shit ton of volume on early downs with like 33 receptions. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even though they can, even like especially Mixon, like he can handle a lot more receiving work if he was given the opportunity.
Yeah, Joe Mixon's frustrated, man, because I think the world of his talent. Like, he just got this deal, and I saw people questioning it on Twitter, and I was like, he's never broke 1,500 yards. I'm like, dude, you have to look at first. Yeah, but the play calling, the team around him, Joe Mixon sees guys as soon as he gets the ball handed off to him or whatever, and he's trying to like wiggle past 5 people, like, and they never. And again, I'll keep harping on this. They never line Mixon up in the slot and let him kill linebackers on routes. Like, I'll never understand just tossing it to Mixon in the backfield and saying, yo, make 15 guys miss and go and some yards. Like, it's just not good game planning. So he has to get better in that way. And now that he's got his deal, you got to feel a little bit better about that too. It's not even an issue. So maybe that will push him up, going into drafts this weekend.
That's a lot of like confidence. I feel like the coaching staff and the organization have in him, So it's like it makes you feel good as a fantasy owner if they have that type of backing for a player. And like you saw the work that he got last year, he didn't get much until later in the season, and then that's when he was kind of like, oh wow, like Mixon's actually performing now again. So, if he gets to work, if they actually go to him, I think it was like 19 or more carries last season, and I don't have the exact statistic, but I had it.
It's because
you know how that goes.
Ryan Finley was in there, and they scaled back the playbook dramatically, and they were just like, let's give it to Mixon. The thing is, Mixon heats up with touches. Like, you have to like continuously get him involved. Like, you heat him up with touches, and then he plays better after he gets the ball a bunch. So,
I feel like that whole offense is just underrated.
It is. It is.
Oh, yeah. Like into next year, like it's going to be a little bit better. Joe Burrow, you got Auden Tate, AJ Green. Hopefully, if he stays healthy, I mean, it's going to be a better offense, and I like their scheme.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon's going to be running in a lot of 11 personnel, which is nice.
Right.
And it's funny. I was just thinking about this. Like, Joe Mixon just needs Gio Bernard. If Gio Bernard gets hurt, like Joe Mixon, that's it. He's an every down back.
Who's it? Travion Williams.
Travion Williams. Like, is he going to come in on third downs? Like, I'm not sure, man. Like, I don't think so. I think Joe Mixon. I don't think you would take Joe Mixon off the field. Like, I get it. They have an infatuation with Gio. Honestly, I thought it was just what's his name?
Marvin Lewis thing?
Marvin Lewis thing. That's what I thought. I thought, all right.
That's what I thought too.
He's the mascot for the Bengals.
That's great. And then they extended him after he left. I was like, okay. Yeah. Interesting. And then but Josh Jacobs, he has like four third down backs that he has to fight off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, dude.
They'll sign anybody who was a pass catching back within that has played.
Yeah. Jalen Richard, Theo Riddick.
Theo Riddick, man. I was like, come on, man.
That
like,
dude's still around.
Right. Like,
is Devontae Booker still in the Raiders, or did he get cut?
I don't know about that. I
know they signed him, and then did they release him? I hope they did, man, because that would be just ridiculous.
Yeah,
they have like 5 passing down backs. No, he's on the Raiders too, man.
Wow.
He's on the.
Like
so they got like 4 dudes ahead of him in the passing game. Like, come on.
What were you gonna say, John?
I don't even think that's gonna be real though, because I feel like they did this just to mess with fantasy owners. Like they knew how much hype he was getting this offseason, that he's been getting, and they're just like, we're going to sign all these pass catchers.
Right.
Gruden's a troll. Mike Mayock said it earlier. He's like, oh, we got to get him more involved. And then Mike Mayock goes ahead and makes all these deals.
Right. Also, Mike Mayock, Theo Riddick, you're in.
Right, right.
Yo, what? Whose radar was he on?
Lynn Bowden.
Know
Right.
what he's saying.
For the rate, it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna play running back for us. Even
We're
though
gonna
like
re-up Jalen Richard. Like, just get in
Who
touch.
did they-
Like
Who did they draft too?
Lynn Boyden.
They drafted. What was that?
Lynn
Oh,
Boyden.
Lynn, Lynn, yeah.
exactly. So it's
Yeah,
just
and
like
he's probably-
they extended Jalen Richard too, so it's not looking good. I mean, but at the same time, you know, I think if Gio Bernard stays healthy, I think both of these guys are going to end up getting a very similar workload, you know, throughout the season. Their
basically,
defenses aren't great, right?
We're good with Alvin Kamara back at his spot at 4, right?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, I would personally like, you know, with the thing is like, you're like, all right, cool, let's grab Latavius Murray, right? But then they got Ty Montgomery, and there's a possibility that Ty Montgomery is their main pass catching back. If Alvin Kamara
I
gets
don't
hurt.
buy it. Oh, if he's hurt?
I've heard the same buzz too, and I mean the way that they use Taysom Hill annoyingly, it wouldn't surprise me, man.
Oh yeah, not if Alvin Kamara is healthy. I'm saying if Alvin Kamara is, let's say he this back thing is a real issue, or like he holds out,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, is Latavius Murray that like 85% snap guy like he played in those 2 games last season?
I was gonna say he dominated. He was like the RB1.
Yeah, he was. He was RB1 those
Yeah,
2.
he killed my Bears one week.
Yeah.
Dude, and like it's funny, like no one wanted to start him that week, right?
Right.
Remember that?
That's the week everybody was like, I don't know about.
Yeah, they were like, it's defense. I don't know. But then Akeem Hicks was down, and they were just playing like shit at the time.
That's
It's
true.
like,
Hindsight
dominated that
20 on
game.
that one, right?
yeah,
Akeem
2020
Hicks
is
was out.
terrible. So
Started
yeah, dude, Akeem Hicks being out, like everybody was like on it
Right.
the next week. They're
Right.
like, oh, really? Oh, that makes a difference? Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Right. I don't think
Guy's one of the best
Right.
in the league on defense on the front line.
Yep.
All right, so I think that we're good. I think that Kamara's fine at 4. You know, especially like unless I hear something crazy before my home league on Friday, if I was at 4, I'd be with it. But you ready to mock draft?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man. So all right, so what I set up here, 12-team PPR, single quarterback hurts my heart. You know how much I'm not a fan of single quarterback leagues. Two running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, a kicker, and defense. Okay. So Faraz, you're picking at 1-6.
Yeah, I want to make it weird for me. So yeah.
Okay.
I was like, let me pick the weirdest spot. I think 6 is weird right now with all the Dalvin Cook and Kamara news and all that.
Right. And Joey is at 1-8, right?
Yeah, I tried to get somewhat similar as what he said. I want to be a little bit different. I haven't really drafted from that spot yet, so I just but I don't know how to get. So I'm on Sleeper on the computer, but it starts freezing up with this pod too going. Can I get it on my phone? Because
Sure.
I don't see it on the Sleeper app though for some reason.
So open up Sleeper, cut the check. Also, if you open up, I'll walk you through it. Also,
Free promo.
yeah. So when you go to where your leagues are, at the top there's that like little TV icon where it's next to leagues.
Okay.
Hit that, and then it'll show you, and then you're in.
All right, got it.
Perfect. Sleeper, cut the check. All right, and I am gonna be drafting at 111 because I like drafting from the edge because I can kind of toss ADP aside because if I don't get my guy here, I'm not getting him. So I want to see what this is going to look like for me on the end. You know, you get 2 picks like pretty much back to back, but then you got to wait and then you got to play the game. So that's kind of where I'm going to come from with mine. So
Yeah, the worst part is like when you have 3 guys that you like, and you're like, shit.
yeah, that's it. Well, that's it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I do in that situation? I'm giving away my secret. I text my wife. I'll text her 3 names, and whatever the one that she sends me back is the winner, and they're gonna be right.
Dude.
I like that.
Because she doesn't know any. She's not into any of it. She just is like, all right, him.
They're usually right, so.
Always.
Do you know how many times I do that for
30 seconds a pick?
DFS?
Say again.
You want to make this 30 seconds a pick and not 2 minutes per pick?
Sure. Yeah, because I'm gonna be wind up pausing right in between and everything as well too. But Joey, go ahead. What were you gonna say, man?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you know how many times I do that with DFS when I'm like picking lineups and like stacking teams? I'm like, hey, pick a team, or like, you know, pick a player, pick between these two, and she'll give me some names, and I'll be like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, make a combination.
That's it. I remember. I like.
He made the lineup, but she's picking them.
Real quick story. I remember it was around Christmas time, like right before my daughter was born, and I was in a championship, like probably the one that I was in for with the most money in. I was in between, like, I think it was like Mark Ingram, Thomas Rawls, listen to that name, and somebody else.
Thomas Rawls was a killer that year.
No, he was, and that's what I was trying to like get back. And I asked my wife, I was like, "Yo, Thomas Rawls or Mark Ingram?" And she looked me dead in my face, didn't even blink. Was like, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram went bonkers that week, and it won me the week or whatever. I was like, I couldn't believe it. All right, so we're gonna do 30 seconds, right? 30 seconds each. Let me just make sure I did that right, because I'm an idiot and I could do it wrong. Got it. 30 seconds each. And then, so basically what's going to happen is right after your pick, we'll talk, give you about 30, 35 seconds to like talk through your pick and why you chose him over who else was on the board. And yeah, let's have some fun. All right, let's get this started. All right, begin draft. Yes. First off the board, Christian McCaffrey, Michael Thomas second. This makes no sense. Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott. You're on the clock, Faraz.
Ah, damn, this is tough, guys.
This is tough. See, these mock drafts just throw like the crazy.
See, this is exactly why I'm here. So, with the Dalvin Cook holdout news, I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Nice. Now, I'm going to pause the draft real quick before you get to your pick, because I want you to talk to me and talk me out of not being panicked, because I read something somewhere that somebody just said these words. What if CEH is just a rookie who joins this league and doesn't automatically get it, and then in my head I have him right after the tier of 4. I have him,
right?
And just hearing someone else say those words got me scared. Talk me out of it.
Well, yeah, no, it's definitely a possibility. I rank CH this high out of FOMO, right? Like I don't want to miss out. It's just more like, for me, look at his competition, right? Like his competition right now. What's his name isn't even going to make the team. It doesn't seem like it. The guy who used to be in the Raiders, they just got to the, what's his name? Anyway,
Washington.
There you go. He's not going to make he doesn't look like he's going to make the team. So his main competition is Darrell Williams. So he's going to be the guy, right? He's capable, right? And that's really all you need, right? Like he's going to get touches. He's going to get volume. Now listen, I want to take Dalvin Cook with every ounce of my soul at 1.6, right? The Adam Schefter thing, when he said that if Dalvin Cook doesn't get a deal, by the start of the season, that would make him nervous, right? That's what
it would give you pause in fantasy draft.
It's going to make me nervous as well, right? So that's the reason why I rather just be a little bit risk averse here, and take Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he has the upside. Right, he doesn't need, 75% of snaps either, because if you're getting 55% of snaps in an Andy Reid offense and you're getting, 15 plus touches, you're good. You're going to be an RB1. That's what the numbers have shown, even with Damian Williams. So I think he'll be fine. He's going to be a part of the offense, if anything, and if he has a little bit of talent, and he does, right? He wasn't really efficient in the passing game, but yards after contact per attempt was okay. Broken tackles was okay. So I'm okay drafting Edwards-Helaire this high.
Got it. You make me feel better. All right. Joey, you're on the clock, man. So 30 seconds is up and you're on. So, after you make your pick, talk us through and everything. Still can't believe Michael Thomas went second.
Yeah, that was weird.
That's really weird.
Damn it. This is too
tough
fast.
right here.
But I guess I had a lot of time while he was talking, but I was listening to him.
Right.
So,
this is tough though.
Here we go. Just go for it. Click. There we go.
All right.
I got a cramp in my leg.
Let me pause the draft real quick. All right. So Joey got one cramp and he got one workhorse back here when he took Derrick Henry. So you know what? I think that I'm completely come around on Derrick Henry at this point, and I think that even in PPR leagues, he is in that tier with these guys right there in that spot, just because of guaranteed focal point in the offense. Guaranteed. Might take him a little while to warm up, but when it gets cold, it's Derrick Henry season and he could win you a title. So like that sort of security, out of the running backs, he's probably the lock, right? Like out of all of those guys to just be like that guy. So, but yeah, I mean, I didn't mean to take your point or anything like that, but yeah, like I love that right there because
Oh.
I've always been against Derrick Henry. That's why I felt the need to say that. So.
Oh, I have too. Yeah, I'm on board with everything you just said because, especially in PPR, he's the ultimate. He's the anti PPR running back. He's the guy that you would just always fade if you're smart and if you study this game and if you play fantasy year in and year out. You would not go after somebody who just is on the ground. He's just getting carries and he's just a touchdown guy. All right, yeah, we can. But like you just said, November comes around, December, it's Derrick Henry time, and I don't trust Tannehill still. I still don't trust Tannehill. Is that real? Is he going to keep emerging, or is he still Ryan Tannehill to a certain point? They're still going to be relying on Henry a lot, and this is actually my first share of him this year, which, I mean, it's a mock draft, so
right. But it's the first time I can share him.
But yeah, I guess I would draft him though at this spot. If he's available there, because yeah, he's just gonna get the volume, and he's shown that he's just an elite running back as far pure running back in this league. So yeah, you can't really go wrong there. I don't think.
Joe, you're still at 0 shares, man.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry. Gotta do another draft then. Don't steal my.
Draft Sunday. I'm gonna be watching you.
Don't steal my guy, Jason.
Hey, like for real though, like is Darrynton Evans gonna be the guy on third downs?
That's what I was gonna ask you, Faraz. Like
yeah.
I think that's like you made a great point about that, Faraz. It's over. I think he's just gonna be all on the field the entire time, pretty much.
He might, man. And like if he gets 30 receptions, like
that's all we asked for. We're not even asking for like 65.
That's all we want. 30, 35 maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 targets.
It's really talented though.
What's that?
Evans is really talented.
He is, man. And if he gets the opportunity, like he missed a ton of camp, right? And I'm hoping that like, he could do his thing. He wasn't like an amazing pass catcher in college, right? But it seems like that's something that he needs to be. He needs to kind of be coached up, right, in that department.
Oh yeah, Henry. They don't set him up they give him all those throwbacks, they'll run the one way just when you suspect that they're not going to throw it to him,
bootlegs and all that, yeah.
Right.
Well, what about Darrynton Evans though? He's not like a huge receiving guy, right? He's more like he's a little bit of a project when it comes to the receiving game.
I don't understand why people are just automatically saying that he's a third down guy.
I don't know. I mean, I saw a quote from Mike Vrabel before the season. And after he drafted him, and he was just like, yeah, we were arguing about it. Him and the GM were arguing about whether he was going to be fit for that role or not, and whether the production in the receiving game, could, what the outlook would be on in the NFL, and they couldn't agree. But they ended up taking him, and Mike Vrabel was like, well, his athleticism and what he's shown, what I'm saying, like his athleticism can translate to becoming a good route runner and all that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Maybe he's not there yet.
All right. So it's my turn. I got a chance to stall, and I was listening to the same thing. I want to be on the clock just as fast. All right, I'm on. So I'm here at 11. I have a good look at some running backs, 1, 2, 3, 4, that are probably workhorse backs. I'm going to try something different this time that, if these guys were on the board, I wouldn't have taken them, but this guy's usually not here in this spot, so I'm going to take Miles Sanders here at 111. And I'm back on the clock, so let me just pause it real quick. The reason that I'm changing this, and I know that everybody's worried about the lower leg injury and week to week, all those things. Everybody's week to week.
He's day to day today.
Right, exactly. We're all day to day. We're all week to week. I don't see why that's such a bad thing at this point. For a fact that when he comes back, Fournette didn't go there. Even if Devontae Freeman decides to show up in the middle of the year, I'm not worried. I think, he's going to be locked and loaded this year. Boston Scott's the only other guy that's really there. I know they talk about Corey Clement. He'll sprinkle in. They're going to use him. But, you have to point – it points to how it was when Miles Sanders was there, and they lost all those receiving options because guess what? Alshon's still on the pup. Now Jalen Rager is what week to week. The guys that I'm warming up to here in these if for now for the Eagles is Sanders and Zach Ertz looks just like now like the safest tight end like out of all of these guys because he's gonna be like a target vacuum, especially in the beginning of the year, like before all these guys get back to health. If that ever happens. So, yeah, I'm gonna change it up. Usually, I would have went with somebody like Tyreek or Julio, but good luck, good news. Tyreek Hill next, Joe Mixon right after. I can have Julio Jones now too. So tell me if you agree, disagree. I'll start with you, Faraz.
I love Miles Sanders.
Okay.
So I'm very in on him. I actually have him right above, like right around like for me it's in full PPR leagues is CMC, Saquon, Kamara, Zeke, and Dalvin if he wasn't holding out. Edwards-Helaire and Sanders are kind of right there. Those are like my top like six or seven guys right there. So yeah, I'm very in on Sanders this year.
So I got a good value at 11.
I think so, man. Like that, and that's one of the reasons why I like being at that turn, like at the end of the first round, because if you can get a guy like Sanders, and then plus you combine him with another elite, either another 3-down running back or another elite wide receiver, like you're sitting pretty, man.
Right. So, Joey, anything to add on Miles Sanders? Do you have a lot of him around, or are you going to be targeting him in your drafts?
Yeah, I've got a couple shares already. I like Sanders. I like him like at the end of the first round in 10-team leagues. So like the 8 through 10 spot. And obviously I just took Henry with the 8th pick, but sometimes you'll see Michael Thomas or Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of fall to that spot, and I might take Sanders even over Helaire, even though I know you took him, but I feel like he's might be even safer other than the injury, but because of what we've seen him do in the league last year, I like Sanders. I think he's going to get passing work. He's going to be the full-time guy, and Boston Scott will probably eat into that a little bit with the receiving, but not too much. I mean, there's a reason why they didn't bring somebody like Jordan Howard in this season. I mean, they're just kind of going with these guys that they already pretty much had, last season, like Boston Scott and, I mean, obviously they liked what they saw with those guys, but they didn't bring a pure running back in like a Jordan Howard type of veteran. So that speaks volumes to me. And I like Sanders. I think he's going to hit that what you're looking for at that spot.
Cool. You made me feel better. So let me resume. I actually was going to go receiver here, but I'm going to throw a curveball. I see Nick Chubb on the board, and I'm going to take him, and I'm going to tell you why right there. So I know that I could have, my favorite receiver in the league, and a top 3, top 4 wide receiver. But there's something safe about having Nick Chubb as my RB2. Just because I know that he's going to get carries. I understand that, the Kareem Hunt thing, but I wanted to switch up my strategy. I want to see what this team would look like if I started running back, because I'm always, I'm always 1-1, right? Like right there, that's a signature moment right there for me to take Julio Jones and start my draft with Miles Sanders and Julio Jones. The problem is what we were just talking about. Like, I have 2 guys that I feel comfortable with that are top 15 guys. One that has a chance to be top, 5 if all things go right for him, in Miles Sanders. And then in the later rounds, not the later rounds, 3 to 4, there's so many good receivers there that I could start with, And, so I just want to see what this team's going to look like if I were to go this route. So, Faraz, I'll start with you. Do you find yourself starting, like, are you just going fluid with the draft motion, or do you feel like, like I know everybody's just taking running backs in the beginning, but is that how you're moving, just as reactionary because after there's a steep drop off after all of the workhorse guys, right?
Yeah, like I prefer to go running back, but if like Devontae falls to me, in the second round, like Devontae fell to where you're at in my other draft today.
I would have drafted him there.
You know what I mean? So like obviously that's huge right there, right? Ridiculous value. So I would have done that. So yeah, I stay fluid. I'm okay taking another guy like Kenyon Drake. He's obviously an option there too, but he presents a little bit of risk.
Right.
The upside is there, no doubt. But I think Nick Chubb is as safe as you can get with Stefanski coming in. Who knows what the split's going to look like between him and Hunt, but at the same time, like he's going to be the goal line guy. He's going to get a ton of work either way. So it's very safe, and I think with positional scarcity and all that, I think Chubb gives you a good advantage at the RB2 spot.
Right, and he's gonna score more of those goal line carries that he didn't score last year. Like that number is absurd. That number is absurd, and to think all the numbers that he put up last year, that number is absurd. Man.
Exactly.
All right, Joey, you're back on the clock, bro. Let's get it started. Did you get a chance to look, or were you just listening?
Both this time.
All right, cool.
So
and you're on.
Swiped.
Right. Swiped. Okay, there it is. So Austin Ekeler, talk to me, Joey.
I mean, Mike Williams is hurt.
Right.
Melvin Gordon's gone. Ekeler was already, basically the feature guy. I mean, Melvin Gordon, he gave up a lot to Melvin Gordon when he returned, but wasn't really efficient, Melvin Gordon. But Ekeler should get a ton of targets, I feel like. I mean, he's going to get most of the work. I'm not really that worried about Joshua Kelly in his rookie season. There's a lot of talk about that going around. Will he see some snaps? Yeah, sure. He'll see some snaps. He'll get some carries. But Ekeler, for me, is the best available at this point now in the draft of horse running backs or guys that should see a significant amount of time and see a ton of action. So I love Ekeler at this point, and I think they can still have a decently efficient offense even with Tyrod Taylor. I think Taylor, I don't think he'll take a ton of deep shots. I feel like he's going to be relying a lot on guys like Keenan Allen and Austin Ekeler. So, that's kind of where my mentality is on that, I guess.
All right, so you got swipe. Go with it.
Totally with you on that one, man. You swiped me, dude. I would have took him for sure.
All right.
Sorry, bro.
All right, so we're up to Faraz again, guys. Let's pick up the pace a little bit when we're talking. I know we get into deep conversations and everything, but we're going on already. An hour 20, and there's a lot of rounds left, so let's get it. Faraz is back on the clock at 2-7.
Listen, man, I like the running backs are going deep now.
Yes.
Right, and the wide receivers, man, like I want to pick a tight end here. I'm considering a tight end here, just because like the wide receivers aren't really separating for me.
Right.
But I'm going to go a little bit risky, right? And I'm going to go James Conner. Nice. Now, this is super early for James Conner, right?
Really?
But
I think that right now it's about where he's going.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You were getting a real value with him, earlier in the summer. Like you can get him in like the end of the third round at some point. I could have got him at 3.6 if this was like a month ago, but he's gotten some hype, especially with Mike Tomlin's comments and all that. But yeah, no, I'm with it. I'll probably be looking for Benny Snell later in my draft,
right,
to kind of shore up that situation.
That too.
Because he's an every down. He's going to be an every down back most likely, and that's it. Like it's a Steelers offense. If he gets hurt, it's going to be unfortunate. But hopefully, I'll have a handcuff. Hopefully, I have some running back depth to take care of it. I want to kind of get as much advantage as I can out of that running back position. Yeah. So anyway, okay, you can unpause the shit.
So 2-7 James Conner, 2-8 Aaron Jones, 2-9 Patrick Mahomes. Then the tight ends. The tight ends go at the end of the rounds. Like those people that are like at the end, like at 11, is when people are taking them. 11 and then on the other way. So 10 Kelsey, 11 Kittle, 2-12 David Johnson. That's way too early. That's nonsense. 3-1 Lamar Jackson, 3-2 Chris Carson, 3-3 Chris Godwin, 3-4 Todd Gurley. The next pick is, let's make sure we get that in. And then now, Faraz, you're back on the clock here. I'm kind of with you there on Connor. What are you thinking now at 3-6?
Kenny Golladay, I would have took him if he was on the board.
Right.
I like Mike Evans, man. I like him more than Chris Godwin this year. I do. I was saying that for a little while now, but only because of the 12 personnel thing. I don't know how much 12 personnel they're going to run, but it's going to be more than they did last year. Excuse me, but the guys I'm considering wide receivers here, but I am going to go DJ Moore here.
Okay, so you're going safe.
he's my safe wide receiver one
Right.
that I'm going for. So we talked about him earlier too.
Right.
So I'm in on him this year.
Right. So DJ Moore 3.6, Allen Robinson 3.7 to be paired with Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins. Not a bad start. Joey, you're on the clock at 3.8. I'm gonna hit resume draft. Talk us through it.
Well, a guy that really stands out to me is Robert Woods here. He's not. If you look on Sleeper, he's down quite a ways.
Yeah.
It's not really up towards the top of the board, but I'm gonna go with my rankings. And I'm going to go with Thielen right there.
Okay. So you went with Adam Thielen there. Talk about it.
Yeah, I've got Thielen ranked a little bit higher, I think, than consensus. I think he's got a real chance to be in the top 10 for PPR leagues this year. And, I mean, he usually is, within the top 10. I don't see how he doesn't get peppered with 150 targets this season.
Easily.
I just think that's who else do they have? Justin Jefferson, who they just drafted, supposedly wasn't looking good in camp.
He's the number 3 is what they're saying right now. It looks like BC Johnson is going to be starting across from Adam Thielen.
And that tells me that makes me feel even better. So
with rookies, it's a little bit tougher because there was no OTAs, anything like that. So they were going to, you're going to find very few guys that are just going to come right in. There's going to be those guys that are just going to be able to do that. But it's tough to expect Justin Jefferson to come right in, I read the same things that you were saying too. So yeah, it's not, I don't disagree with any of that at all, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's being a little bit undervalued, even though his ADP might be around this spot, I guess, technically, but I just think he's got a really high floor, I think, and if he gets just a little bit more touchdowns, I think he could have a higher ceiling too. But yeah, I like Thielen this year.
All right, so I'm gonna put this back on. Now I'm on the clock. This one's pretty easy. Faraz, I think you know where I'm going here. So after Thielen, it was Juju Smith-Schuster and then Jonathan Taylor. This is easy. I need to pick a wide receiver 1. Mike Evans is the pick. Really don't have to explain any more than the guy who he's been talking. I've heard Brady talk about him. And I know that doesn't sound like anything, but if he's already trusting him and he's already had 6 1,000-yard seasons, I understand the concerns about Brady not tossing the ball down the field, but he's just going to be using the red zone. They're just going to toss it up to him. I'm good with Mike Evans here as my number 1. I wish my draft really fell this way where I could get Mike Evans at 311. Probably won't happen.
That's such a good value for him.
Right. That probably won't happen. That's why it's a mock draft. It's bullcrap. But so after Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Odell Beckham at 4-1, I'm back on the clock. And look who's at the top. It's good old Leonard Fournette. I'm not drafting him. And then there's someone else that I see here. I'm gonna start swinging on upside a little bit more here. And I'm going to get me a piece of this Atlanta passing game. Calvin Ridley, come on down at 4-3. Let me just let it get to you, actually. Oh, well, it's on you right now. Give me a sec. Pause draft. So yeah, Calvin Ridley, the writing's on the wall. We don't have to talk any more about him. You've already heard me, discuss him at length about how much, I like him. Everybody's calling him the new Godwin, right? That's what everybody's just automatically saying. But it's all there for him. It's all right there in front of him with all those targets as well too. And if anything happens to Julio, then you're talking about a guy who's really going to see all the targets. Then it's really game on. But I don't think that he needs Julio to return value, especially at 4-2 right now. He still has a chance. I feel like I'm not drafting him at his ceiling, right? This might be closer to maybe his floor. I think with all these guys. So how many are off the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 feels okay. Other guys on the board that I would have considered there. Robert Woods is there. I probably, now that I just looked at it, I think I just missed on somebody a little bit better. I probably, going back and looking at it, I probably would have taken AJ Brown. I need that other boom type of player too, behind him or whatever. But I'll be all right with Calvin Ridley. Yeah, man. Damn it. I should have taken AJ Brown. That was stupid.
Hey man, listen, like this is a mock draft. You can do what the hell you want.
Oh, no, I'm not taking it back. No, I'm not taking it back. It's cool. So Leonard Fournette went next. Le'Veon Bell and Joey, you're back on the clock, man. So talk to me.
About to get sniped.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going. Was that your dude?
Yeah. Well, I knew you were gonna take him because you were considering him at 3-8.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and he came back around. Well, it was either him or I was looking at AJ Brown like you were talking about. But I like Chark too in that spot. But I'm still going safety here. I still think, Bobby Trees, Bobby Woods, whatever you want to call him. I think he's still got tremendous safety. I think he's going to get a ton of targets and he's going to be that dude. Like Cooper Kupp's going to be probably that slot guy, obviously, and he's more of the playmaking type receiver. But I just like Robert Woods. I don't know what else. He's an easy pick, I think, at that spot. The way he came back around.
I feel like his situation and the Mike Evans situation is kind of similar, like as far as like the other wide receivers on the field. Right. Like, you have Godwin and then you have Kupp as the main slot guys, but both teams might be going to more 12 personnel this year. And then you have who is going to be the beneficiary. It's Mike Evans, who's always been getting it done on the outside. There's Robert Woods, who's always been getting it done on the outside, right? And those other guys might be a little bit overvalued. So I'm going to take Cooper Kupp here. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually going to take, I love AJ. I love him as a player, you know what I'm saying? But we talked about DJ Chark so much that I'm not going to pass up on him. The thing with like AJ Brown for me, and it's just that, maybe the target volume might not be there. That's the only thing I'm concerned about, even though he's just such a beast. He was taking 2 picks after me, so I don't have to come back, embarrass myself, and just take him at 5-6. But yeah, that's my only concern with him. But DJ Chark, we talked about him before. Target volume is going to be crazy. And my guy came back to me, so I'm happy.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're already talking about. But here's why you need to roster build in ways that are unorthodox and stand ahead of the crowd. You get yourself DJ Moore and DJ Chark's on the way back. How can you pass up having 2 DJs on your team? Like, that is excellence. Your team name is going to be excellent. You're just bringing yourself good luck. Like, it's like it. And like, here's the thing: in that spot, you'd be talking about DJ, AJ, or DK in that area. Like, you could see any of those guys like going in that area right there. Like, where you took Chark, Cooper Kupp was next, and then AJ Brown. Give me AJ Brown over Cooper Kupp all day. Then it went Mark Ingram, Devin Singletary, Mark Andrews, who I low-key thought about coming back around there just because all he has to do is run like 10 more routes and I think he'll be fine. Like the dude ran 75 routes, he got targeted 74 times, like pretty much. Like it's insane, like all he has to do is run routes a little bit more, just a little bit more. But Raheem Mostert went on the swing, Kareem Hunt, Cam Akers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, which they're in rankings, it's really between DK. You have to make a decision between the both of them, it seems like. Like when I was looking at the ADPs, they're like going back to back just like that. So
they are.
All right, Faraz, you're back on the clock. At 5-6.
Who am I picking, Jay?
Terry McLaurin.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
You have to go McLaurin here.
That's easy. We found out who the starting quarterback was today.
Not really. No, I wasn't considering anybody else. I mean, I have two running backs. I'm filling up my 3 wide receivers. Actually, this is a 2 wide receiver league and 2 flex spots. Okay, right. That's interesting. So yeah, I'm good with this. Full PPR league. I got 3 number 1 wide receivers. I'm happy.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and we found out today they're not gonna mess around and like put Alex Smith's life in danger or anything like that. Like,
what was that about? I don't understand that. Everyone was like, "Yo, like Dwayne Haskins won the job," and I was like, "Who was he competing against?"
Right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he wasn't competing at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's like somebody was like, "Wow, so Alex Smith isn't gonna start." What? I
saw people like, "Oh, Alex Smith is gonna win that job at week 6." I'm like, guys, let the dude walk.
Yes, please.
Like let the dude like throw a football. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's a miracle that even like getting that activities right now. Like,
Yeah, like he really
Yes,
can't even do much right now. They're not saying that he can. He's not even taking like the regular reps.
I didn't understand that at all. He's
No,
our
he's
QB this year. I thought he was your QB the whole time. Like I didn't
no.
understand that.
All right. Joey's back on the clock. Oh God. At what is it? 5-8. What are you thinking here, Joey? Is he still there? Oh, man. Yeah, we got some issues here. So I hope he makes a pick. Otherwise, I'll fix it for him.
My team name's gonna be more DJ.
Nice. That's it. And you need more cowbell too.
Exactly. It's just gonna be that picture.
Yo,
The
that's
cowbell
excellent.
picture.
All right, I pause it. I guess we'll just wait for Joey to jump back on. Joey, you there, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like coming back. But yeah, I paused it right before your timer was up. You back on?
I tried picking, but it's
Go ahead. It's on now. You can go again. You there, Joey? Yeah, I don't know. We're probably just gonna have to knock this out. I think ourselves and for us.
Make a pick for him.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna go with
What?
give him some upside. Give him like Marquise Brown or something like that.
Really?
Or give me like Zach Ertz. Well, you want Zach Ertz.
It's gonna be Ertz probably. They gave him Keenan Allen.
Oof, he's not gonna like that one.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get Joey back. So Russell Wilson went next. Dak went after that. I'm on the clock. I'm actually gonna take Zach Ertz because right there at 5'11". Let me pause this real quick. At 5'11", that's easy. That's easy right there. So got me a top 4 tight end, right, in that tier. The end of the tier probably. I don't know. Like he could push his way up in that tier just because of, all I'm hearing is that, besides all the receiving core being down, is that Goddard's going to be in the block a lot. And everybody's trying to swing on Goddard at the end, like at the end of the draft. What I think is going to happen is that they are going to be picking up Goddard. And then what happens is that when Goddard starts to disappoint, he's just going to get cut because it does sound like they're going to need him. They just lost 2 linemen in the offseason as well, too. So they're going to need Goddard to help block and chip on a lot of those routes. And, yeah, Zach Ertz, you don't want to put him in danger. I hate to go with the double Philly stack, but I'm just looking at right there at 5'11". How can I not get, like, the safest tight end on the board in PPR?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going with 2 Philly guys who are going to get a ton of volume, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a product of what the offense is doing. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Okay. So I'm back on the clock again here, and I'm going to kind of zag a little bit more. Joe, are you back, man? I don't think he's on.
Are you going QB here?
No, I'm not. Get out of here. don't ever sully my good name like that. I am going to choose Courtland Sutton here. And as my third receiver, I don't really see how that's bad at all, and this is a league where we're starting to flex in PPR, right? So he has the chance to be the number 1. It's the risk involved with him is just really, do you believe in Drew Lock in that small sample size, right? But I have been somebody who has shied away from him before, back in like a few years ago and everything as well too. But last year I really became a believer just because he was doing it with whoever was the quarterback there, honestly, man. Like, and he was wiping out some really good competition too while he was doing it. He really took the next step. So, having Courtland Sutton as my wide receiver 3, I feel really good about it. So Rob Gronkowski went next. AJ Green went next. Let's see, resume draft. Let's see what it picks for Joey if it does. So he's on the clock. 30 seconds. Yeah, he's off on there too. Or he's back on. Here we go. I mean, he's back in the sleeper chat for the draft itself. So 15 seconds for Joey. Let's see what we got here. Who would it give him next? Oh, I was probably gonna give him Monty.
Oh, yeah, you might be right.
Monty. Yep. All right.
David Montgomery.
So
hopefully he'll be. Well, he's a Bears fan, right?
Yes.
So that kind of worked out.
So pause draft. So you're up. Darren Waller went after, right? So you started with CEH, Connor, DJ Moore, DJ Chark, Terry Lauren. What are you thinking here at 6'7"?
All right. So there are two wide receivers that are jumping off the board to me. So Stephon Diggs, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller, Michael Gallup, Tyler Boyd on the clock. But Michael Gallup and Tyler Boyd are the two guys that are looking at me. But I need some running backs. I only have two running backs so far. I want some depth. So I'm gonna go ahead here and take DeAndre Swift.
Nice.
That's the guy that I want to. Does that work? Okay, yeah, there you go. And I'm hoping that one of those guys comes back to me. Tyler Boyd, maybe, because Michael Gallup was taken right after that.
Yep,
Tyler Boyd was drafted. Michael Gallup was drafted. So
Antonio Gibson 7-3. So here, look, let's go through the picks right after DeAndre Swift, right? Michael Gallup, Devontae Parker, Stephon Diggs, Deshaun Watson, J.K. Dobbins, Will Fuller, Tyler Boyd, Antonio Gibson, Marlon Mack, Kyler Murray. And now you're back on the clock. So right now you've got 3 running backs, you've got 3 receivers, 3 fine receivers as well. What are you thinking here?
I like wide receivers. Like Julian Edelman's going to be fine, right? I just don't want to take him right now because he's old, and I don't want to. I'd rather like shoot for a little bit more upside. Somebody who can potentially not crap out on me in week 5. I'm considering Brandon Cooks here. I'm considering Zach Moss is like the next. Oh my goodness, it's only the 7th round. Brandon Cooks, Deontay Johnson. I really like him this year, and I think he has a lot of upside. So the fact that I don't have Juju on my team, I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson.
Nice. So you're all in with Deontay Johnson like that, huh?
Yeah, I like him a lot, and I think that with Ben back, I think Deontay Johnson is going to do really well. He's a good route runner. He did really well last year in a terrible situation, so I'm definitely in on him.
Okay. So after Deontay Johnson, Jordan Howard went next. Joey's back on the clock, and then I'm 3 picks after. Trying to look at who. So Brandon Cooks, he took right there. Hayden Hurst, and then Julian Edelman, and now I'm on the clock, but my computer's acting slow. Let me pause this. All right. What am I looking at here on the board? So Deebo Samuel, James White, who I've been like getting a ton of, just because, you start to hear out of camp that Cam's been throwing to him more than anybody. And like, that's exactly what you want to hear. But the question becomes not less of when he's on the field, will he be targeted, is how much he'll be on the field and what the heck they're going to do with all of these guys. Like, Lamar Miller's off of PUP, but there is chatter that Lamar Miller is going to get cut. Sony's back. He's off of PUP. Rex Burkhead's not going anywhere. James White is there, and I kind of feel good about him, but I think I'm going to zag a little bit, and I'm going to actually take Jarvis Landry here. Let me just set this up. Resume draft. I'm just going to go safety here. Like, I really don't want to, risk it here. Like, again, my 4th receiver is Jarvis Landry, Evan Ingram at 7-12, then Drew Brees at 8-1. I'm back on the clock. Now it's time to start swinging for the fences. I only have 2 backs right now, so I will take James White on the back end right here right now. Zach Moss
right after you in the 8th round.
See, and that's who I was thinking about with him. But I think that I trust that James White's the leader for them, and they're gonna lean on that.
Right.
So Zach Moss, Tariq Cohen, and Joey's back on the clock. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
I mean, the fact that like Zach Moss is going the 8th round means that a ton of running backs have been taken.
For sure. That's why it gets a little barren. Like I have 2 really basically workhorse guys, but I have really good receivers that I'm happy with too. So Philip Lindsay was next, Matt Ryan, and now you're up, Faraz. What are you thinking here at 8-7?
So I loved Evan Ingram. Like, I was hoping that he would fall to me here, but he didn't. And running backs seem like I'll be reaching a little bit. I like Debo here at this spot. Apparently he might be, according to you, he might be available week 1.
Not according to me. What Kyle Shanahan says is that he's hoping for both him and Brandon Ayuk to be there. They're going to be practicing this week. If all goes right. So yeah, if he misses 1 game, that's all it'll be. But
I just picked Tyler Higbee.
You did.
I don't think Tyler Higbee. I'm not huge on him. But the amount of upside that he presents for this price, I'm okay with taking that chance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so let me pause the draft. So did you read the report today about, Higbee being, like, he's going to be peppered with targets, basically? Like, I
didn't hear. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so there's a beat writer that came out today that said, you expect Higbee to be involved. Like, for sure. That's, like, really what you want to hear because I think that, again, we've discussed this. You know how it is. Wait, do you buy into what happened at the end of the year, or is there going to be a change? Like, the idea that he's going to be there, and that he's going to be, involved is got to give you a lot more confidence.
Oh yeah, that if that's true, like that gives me, and I believe you, that definitely gives me more confidence.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
No, but like Gerald Everett, he didn't play any snaps. I think he played like one snap that whole time while Tyler Higbee was killing it. And now that he's back and healthy, that can mess things up a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's that much of a better player than Higbee is, or whatever. It's more like they're going to play a lot of 12 personnel. They're going to have Everett on the field. It might not work out the same way that it did last year, but we saw what Higbee did. What he did was incredible for a tight end. The production is like unheard of what he did in those 5 games. So even though they were against shitty tight end defenses, I'm okay with taking him at this price because of the upside. And when you look at all the other options on the table, nothing else, screamed out at me as far as upside goes.
Right. So I found the report. I'm not crazy.
Okay.
All right. ESPN's Lindsey Theory expects Tyler Higbee to continue to be among Jared Goff's top targets.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So, so that's pretty much good vibes that you want to hear before you draft.
And we definitely want to hear, like, that sounds like good vibes. And like when it gets closer to your draft and like closer to week 1, that's what you want to hear.
For sure. Alexander Mattison went next. Deebo Samuel went after that. Tom Brady, Emmanuel Sanders, CeeDee Lamb. Don't like that at all. I would definitely take CeeDee Lamb before I would take Emmanuel Sanders. Latavius Murray, Henry Ruggs. Gosh, Henry Ruggs, man, at 9-2. Like with everything that we know about Tyrell Williams right now, I know there's the Bryan Edwards hive and there's the Ruggs hive, but why not both? Why not both?
I agree. I mean, that's a good value, I think, for Henry Ruggs, 9-2.
Kerryon Johnson, 9-3. Aaron Rodgers, 9-4. Chase Edmonds, 9-5. You are back on the clock, my friend, at 9-6. Let me turn this back on for you.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Damian Harris here. I'm thinking A.J. Dillon. I feel like it's early for both of those guys. Do I have Golladay? I don't. So I'm going Marvin Jones here.
Nice. That's solid.
Yeah, very solid. I think, when you look at the splits between him and Kenny Golladay as far as targets go, especially end zone targets as well, it's not a huge difference between the two. So I'm okay with going Marvin. This is a good value for him, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the pick right there. That's like like your wide receiver core is so safe with so much upside right now. So I mean, Marvin Jones, no complaints from me at 9-6 there. Not Matt Breida 9-7. Joey took Jamison Crowder 9-8. Those targets got to go somewhere if anybody's out there. Like, I mean, I know Denzel Mims said that he's probably going to be good to go, but give me Crowder, give me Herndon all day right now at this point. And Tevin Coleman went right after that. Damian Harris went right after that. I am back on the clock right here. And I've got a pretty good mix of guys here. So I think that I'm going to go super safe when it comes to wide receiver one more time here. And a guy that I've just been pretty much just grabbing everywhere at this point is Sterling Shepard, man. Like at 9-11, man, like to be like my fifth, receiver, on a week where I need him to put up points on a flex week or something like that. It's pretty simple right here. I've been getting him everywhere. People are just forgetting.
Yeah, his target volume stayed very, very solid throughout the season, and he was averaging like 8-point-something yards targets per game, which was like I think that ranked like top 15 or something. So it's going to be legit. When all 3 guys are healthy, when all the receivers are healthy, he's going to get his targets no matter what.
For sure. And then
he's a good wide receiver. He also proved last year that he could run routes on the outside and separate.
He is a good wide receiver. That's the other thing too. It's just, the injury thing. Like, I get it. Exactly. I understand, but yeah.
Someone swiped your 49ers defense, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm sick of these leagues with defenses and everything, but I know that my home leagues are gonna have them, and I do not take them until the last round. Like, I don't care. I really don't care, honestly. Exactly. I almost at this point wouldn't be taking like anybody like at this point. So, all right. So Hunter Henry, San Francisco 49ers D. Man, this draft is wacky. Okay, let's get a little nuts here. And let's shoot for some more upside. So I only have 3 running backs, and I think that I'm just gonna try to stick to this. And I am going to go a little bit more upside here at 25 with 25 seconds left. Am I? Or am I not? What am I looking at here? I had somebody. Oh God, now I'm stuck. All right, yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna take Mecole Hardman here because even if he takes one good step forward this year, I'm not afraid of Sammy Watkins. He only can kill the 49ers or me when he plays me in fantasy. So I'm not really too worried about him. I think that Mecole Hardman's gonna be a guy that is gonna take a nice step forward, and if he even just does a little bit more and is just a little bit better, then I'm just gonna swing on the upside here. Yeah, I don't even have to say too much more right there. So, all right, he's on auto right now. So
he is on auto.
Yeah, Joey's back with Christian Kirk after I took Mecole Hardman. It's Jalen Reagor, Josh Allen, Christian Kirk, Carson Wentz. I'm looking at you and who's gonna blink on quarterback first. That's what we're gonna have a stare off to see who's gonna take a quarterback first. You're on the clock at 10-7. Talk to me.
I just I like Matt Stafford here, and I want to grab him.
Right.
But I should grab him, shouldn't I?
Now you're trying to get the stack.
Yeah, but Marvin Jones is probably going to be on my bench most weeks, right? But I'm also looking at A.J. Dillon here. I'm looking at Deshaun Jackson here.
Right.
I feel like Deshaun Jackson is he's going to get hurt.
Week 1. You better play in week 1.
You better, right? And he's somebody who's going to auto draft.
No. I can take it off. It's my bad.
No. Let's take the Matthew Stafford. I was thinking about him, right? So let's just do it.
You sure?
Yep, 100%.
All right. So you got Matt Stafford. All right. Matt Stafford, Sony Michel, Boston Scott, Jerry Jeudy, Cam Newton, Darrell Henderson, and we're at the turn. So let me just restart this real quick. Resume. Boom. All right. See what we got here.
So A.J. Dillon was taken ahead of me, so that helps me. Helps me make my decision.
Whoa! You're on auto.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Why am I on auto?
I don't know. Hold on. It's my turn to pick now. Pause draft. All right. Yeah, you just took Duke Johnson.
No, I don't want Duke Johnson.
Of course you don't want Duke Johnson.
Even though I love Duke Johnson. He's like the guy I've been high on his whole career.
Remove player.
I think you can just there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So all those guys that were taken after me, I wouldn't have picked them anyway.
Right.
So it's fine. But I do need a running back because I haven't taken a running back I only have 3 running backs on my roster, and it's the 11th round, right? I like Deshaun Jackson here, but I think I'm good at wide receiver for now. So I'm gonna go Chris Thompson. Because he's safe. He's gonna get hurt just like Deshaun Jackson. I can't make the pick because you paused me, but if you can just restart it.
Nah, I just added him for you.
Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect, thank you. So Chris Thompson. I think that's the way I would go. Just because I need some running back depth in a full PPR league, I think he's relatively safe. Just because Fournette is gone and he's going to be the main guy.
Right. Right after Chris Thompson, Bryce Love. I got sniped by Joey. He took Preston Williams. That was going to be my next pick. I'm just going to have all the receivers, it looks like. Tony Pollard, then the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I'm back on the clock. So looking at right now, I think you kind of just pushed me to it. It's this is easy right here. I know exactly what I'm taking. I'm going to take a low-risk shot here in the 11th round, right? And I'm going to use my running back 4 spot, 11-11, on Raekwon Armstead.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, at that price right there, that makes sense for me.
It does. Because how many starting running backs can you get in the 11th round?
Right.
Well, is Adrian Peterson still on the board?
No, he went.
Round.
Yeah.
Never mind. So, he just went earlier in this round, yeah.
Right. So after that, it's Anthony Miller, it's Justin Jefferson. I have 15 seconds on the clock, and I'm gonna take the guy and load up a little bit more running back, a little bit deeper. I'm gonna take Jerick McKinnon here at 12.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a homer pick for sure. But yeah, it's a one that I can wait and see. I can sit around and wait and see.
I like that pick because I'm high on Jerick McKinnon. I like him a lot. I'm still on auto draft, by the way.
Yeah, you did. You just took Daniel Jones.
Well, how do I get myself off of auto draft here? What's going on?
Let me pause it.
Sorry, man.
Nah, you're good. You're good. All right.
Let me see. How do I get myself off of auto? Oh, okay. I see the toggle. Never mind. I'm off of auto draft now.
You're good? Now, all right, so at 12-7, Deshaun Jackson went right before you. John Brown.
Okay, let me look at all these picks after me. So all of the picks that were between 12-7 and 13-6, I would not have chosen.
Right. So who are you thinking?
So here I am looking at Naheem Hines
Mhm.
because he's a PPR back.
Mhm.
I'm looking at shoring up my Pittsburgh running back situation with Benny Snell.
Makes sense.
I'm looking at Paris Campbell. And did somebody get taken? No, I guess not. And I'm looking at some tight ends, some backup tight ends, because I don't have somebody that's a sure thing in Tyler Higbee. You have Zach Ertz, so you're good,
Yeah.
right? So I think let's just make a pick, man. Like, what you waiting for? Like, I don't.
Just tell me. You just let me know so I can manually set it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take. I already picked a wide receiver. Let's go with. This is more than 30 seconds. What do you think? Like, you think
Sorry.
this is... I'm gonna go ahead and take.
I'm about to give you back.
I'm gonna take Mike Gesicki here.
Okay.
He's like a guy that I've been high on this year. I like him. I like him a lot just because of the offense. He's the guy who's going to be playing the slot a lot, so I love that for him in this new offense. And I think I'm going to shore up my Pittsburgh running back situation and take Benny Snell here.
All right, this one I can unpause for you and you can just take it. So let me just resume. Done.
All right, Benny Snell.
Benny Snell, done. Naheem Hines, Joey's back on. Yeah, I like that with Connor and Benny Snell. So there's Daniel Jones, Hawkinson, then Justin Tucker. I'm on the board, and I'm really pissed that I waited on quarterback. I'm really pissed. I'm gonna take Jared Goff here. I really was looking at Joe Burrow, hoping that he fell back to me, and he got taken, right after he took Gesicki.
Wow.
So LaShawn McCoy was next. Harrison Butker's next. Let me take a look who's on the board still here. And I'm going to take a shot on a guy that, is all upside at this point, and that's Chris Herndon. I've already been on the hype train, and I might as well, in this round, take a shot, even with Ertz. So Golden Tate was after Will Lutz. I mean, if Chris Herndon in any way is involved in the way, all he has to do is run the same amount of routes that Ryan Griffin ran, and we'll be fine.
I feel like Chris Herndon's a more of a sure pick than the 14th round price tag suggests.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, it's like we saw, I'm going to pause it because you're on the clock right now. We saw Ryan Griffin run a ton of routes, be productive, and that's just Adam Gase's offense. And I'm like, again, 14th round, I'm in, man. Like, I'm with that. Even if I have Zach Ertz, man, that sort of upside that he presents, like, the kid's a baller. Like, I don't have to tell you guys as much as I already do tell you how much I love him because I've been holding him in all my dynasty leagues. But if any of this stuff is true about him being featured and him being a target hog, man, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like, looking back on it now, like the fact that if I could have waited to get Chris Herndon and then Jonnu Smith, I probably would have been the same picks though. Right. But Chris Herndon and Jonnu Smith, those are both perfect late round tight end guys.
Right. So Jonnu Smith went. Joey took him at 14-5. The Dallas Cowboys went, and you're back on the clock. I'm just going to unpause it for you if you want to talk a while. Yeah,
the two guys that I want were my last two picks, Paris Campbell, which I'm going to take now.
Okay.
And then I'm hoping that Joshua Kelly comes back to me.
Let's see. Greg Zuerlein, Robbie Gould. Defense's kicker is Baker Mayfield, Sammy Watkins, Michael Pittman. He did. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, he's obviously competing for some of the early down touches in LA with, with Austin Eckler. So that's the upside that I'm hoping for, hoping that pans out. Right. So
not bad.
Joey's back on the clock. Let's see. Did he take anybody? All right. Darrington Evans, because he has Derrick Henry, I guess, right? Rashad Perryman, Gardner Minshew, and I'm going to take Bryan Edwards at the end with my last pick.
Perfect.
I just want to get a shot at who this could be in this offense. So, yeah, again, know your league. You may have to draft the kicker and defense. Notice that Faraz and I didn't, because that's like how I'm pretty much going to be doing it. Like, I'd rather stack up on players in the week before the season starts and then make a decision the night before,
exactly,
and see what happens. So
because you never know what kind of news is going to come out.
Correct.
Until the draft, because they are practicing until that happens, and you never know if someone can get hurt.
Correct. And a DST I think that everybody's forgetting about, especially because they just traded for one of the better pass rushers in the league, is the Vikings. Even though that their secondary kind of shot.
You got two really good players coming on the outside on both sides, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So, do you want to run through your team real quick and then we'll let it go because it's about
sure.
2 hours now, so.
I mean, I love my team. Right. So my running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and James Conner. I'm happy with that because I got Benny Snell. I picked up in the 13th round. So, we know that Benny Snell is going to be the handcuff.
Joey said he did. Joey just texted me that you sniped him with the Joshua Kelly pick. Got him back.
Really? There you go, man. I
need a drop like that. A snipe.
I'm glad that I was able to snipe somebody in the last round.
Nicely done, my friend. That's how you do it. That's like outbidding somebody by $1 on Fab. Like it's like that. It's like that's the feeling.
I know. What are the chances?
Right.
Wide receivers, I'm very happy. DJ Moore, DJ Shark, Terry McLaurin. I'm calling my team More DJ. Deontay Johnson is my wide receiver 4. Marvin Jones is my wide receiver 5. Paris Campbell's my wide receiver 6. So that's, for me, this is an ideal draft with wide receivers.
For sure.
Yeah.
I like receivers a lot. I do.
Yeah, it's ideal. Tyler Higbee. This is not going to happen in a real draft. If people let you get DJ Moore, Shark, and McLaurin, I mean,
come on.
That you're playing in a league.
Let me join your league. Tell me the buy-in.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I mean Tyler Higbee and Mike Gesicki are my 2 tight end options. I picked 2 tight ends because Tyler Higbee is not a sure thing.
Right.
You picked 1 tight end. Well, you picked Chris Herndon late. You got the upside guy, but you didn't necessarily have to because you're good with Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
But Herndon can turn into depth. He can turn into a trade piece. All that.
That's it. I always think about it in that way too. Like you never know what's gonna happen. It's always good to have 2 of. And the other thing is so the way I've been targeting tight ends, I think it's like if I don't get one of the 4, then I'm gonna swing on 2 late round guys.
Yeah, makes
2
sense.
of them. Like Hurst and Jonnu and Herndon, Jarwin and Jonnu, like those guys. Like Jonnu and Jack Doyle, especially if we hear that Trey Burton's not gonna be there for the first few weeks.
Yep. Man, don't forget about Mo Alley Cox, bro.
Oh man, I know everybody. There's such a high for like these random players. Like he's a mountain of a man, and like it's like all I thought people were gonna start saying on Twitter was like, I'm like, all right, Jack Doyle sees a bump. Everybody's like, no, it's Mo Alley Cox season. I'm like, oh my god, man. Like you guys always find somebody else like to stand.
You can't win.
Right. So yeah, I'll run through my team. This is never gonna happen, right? Like listen to these like 111. Sanders, Nick Chubb 2-2, Mike Evans 311. Not a chance, man. I feel like where Juju went in this draft was just because this draft was weird. I think that people in home leagues are off Juju because they're scared of what they saw last year. I'm back on board with him all day. I think that if I'm catching him in the 3rd or 4th round, like I'm looking at a top 10 wide receiver because, we talked about it. Back in the slot, Ben's back. If his arm feels even a little bit better than it was the year that he threw for 5 bands, we'll be fine. All those guys will be supported. Calvin Ridley at 4.2, then Zach Ertz at 5.11. Like I love the 2-2 combo right there. Like for me, even though I should have taken DJ Chark like an idiot or AJ Brown like a moron, I took Calvin Ridley. All right, Cortland Sutton, Jarvis Landry, James White, Sterling Shepard. Cortland Sutton was sitting there right in my face. Like I'm not a big fan, but as my 3rd receiver, you really can't turn that down. And the same thing with Jarvis Landry. James White, I've just been getting everywhere. Like I just feel like again. I'm gonna hammer the point. I don't have any inside sources. I've only heard that Cam really likes to throw to him, and I think they're just gonna lean on him because he has that championship thing that Belichick likes, and he's been there, so he's trusted. Sterling Shepard, everybody's forgetting about at 9-11. That's pretty much where you can get him easily in these drafts in the 12th round. Mecole Hardman, I swung for a little bit of upside. Raquel Armstead was still there at 11-11. I doubt he's probably gonna be there. There's gonna be somebody in your league that is thinking that they're getting the drop on you by getting Raquel Armstead in like the 8th or 9th round or something like that. I say let him. But at 11, I'm good with that there. Jerick McKinnon, Jared Goff, Chris Herndon, and Bryan Edwards. Yeah, I like my team actually. Jared Goff will be there late for you like that. Very late for you like that. Like he was the one that jumped off at the board at me, and the only other person that I would have considered there probably was Gardner Minshew. The reason that I wasn't in on Daniel Jones right there was because Daniel Jones' death schedule that starts the season.
Yeah, it's true. And if you're gonna pick a QB that late, you might as well pick and you only picked one, so you might as well pick a quarterback that has a decent schedule to start the year.
Right, exactly. And if something happens to him, then I can always make a move and then play the streaming game. But yeah, Daniel Jones is going to end up on your waiver wire after the first 4 weeks, I bet you. And then he's going to have that streak where he goes crazy again, and then they run into like another part of their schedule that's the same sort of thing. So it's while I'm excited about everybody for the Giants, a lot of their opponent's schedule, which you shouldn't really buy too much into. But when you tell me the first 4 games is going to be like the Niners, the Bears, the Steelers, and somebody else, it's just like, man, that's a tough. Those are tough defenses to go up against.
100%.
All right, we're done. This is over 2 hours. My wife's gonna kill me. Faraz, tell them everywhere to follow you, and the content's flowing. So let's go, man. It's go time.
Upper Hand Fantasy on Instagram. upperhandfantasy@gmail.com.
Okay. What?
I had to throw the email in there because my DMs are getting flooded.
I was gonna say, what if your Instagram name was that? Because there's like old people that make Instagrams, but they're like, it's like their whole thing. Like, what if my Instagram was JasonAponte2103@gmail.com? That would be fire, yo. That would be fire.
That would be so good, dude. Like, you would get like 1,000 followers just for that name.
Like, how is this possible? I'd be like, yo, that's my username, bro.
What's your email? Oh wait, never mind.
Right, exactly. What is it? Let's see. His team name, his password is Taco. What do you think his password is? All right, man. Yo, like I said, guys, just make sure you follow Faraz. Smash the subscribe, like, leave reviews for the pod and everything as well too. We're at least gonna do one a week. This was a fun one. I wish Joey would have been able to finish it up. But at least you sniped him at the end to kind of get him back because he sniped you like 2 times in a row. So that's got to be a good win for you.
Yeah. I'm happy.
So, what's going to happen this week? A lot going on with, obviously, things ramping up next week for Thursday. So try to get as many shows as I can, try to line up some guests, try to get some different perspectives. So, got to get people that we can argue with. I'm tired of the love fest of like me and you being on here. It's like, well, we're like, yeah, you know what? You are right. Yeah, no, you're right. No, we're both right. Like, no, we need to, I was telling Joey before we got on, I think I just need to turn into the Skip Bayless of this and just be like, Terry McLaurin's a bum. Let me tell you why.
Just disagree with everything.
Right, disagree with everything. Terry McLaurin's trash because, the upgrade would be if Alex Smith or Kyle Allen was there and not Dwayne Haskins. And you can downgrade him now. He's on my do not draft list. See, I can't even do that right. Like, it just sounds stupid. Like,
I thought that was pretty entertaining.
I don't know how they do it, like, with a straight face. Like, say things like that where I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, that's wrong. Anyway. Yeah, man. So follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active. At JasonAponte2103. Instagram, Fantasy Bros Pod. On Twitter, Fantasy Bros Podcast. Faraz, man, Sunday we got a draft. What is it? What day?
Yeah, a week from today, Wednesday.
Cool. Whatever. Like, I just wake up and there's like an alarm that says this draft in 5 minutes. I was like, I got it. I gotta get like, and then like, I'm used to the slow drafts because I'm in 3 slow drafts right now. So it's like, it's cool. I can take my time. Like, I've been on the clock this entire time. Now people are like, you're on the clock. I'm like, shut up. You guys take whole nights and days or whatever before you pick. Like, you need to wait. But like those fast drafts like that, those like, those you gotta like really sit there, watch the board and everything and be receptive. That's the sucky part about the home league thing is like you want to sit there and talk and bullshit with your friends and like you end up like looking and you got like 10 seconds on the clock and you wind up like
nobody's talking to each other. Yeah.
Right, exactly. No, I like it when it's silent too, like, so but yeah. Draft next week. We'll probably jump on another show next week, if you have the time. So, we'll make it happen, man. But for Faraz, for Jay, we out here, man.
Later.